Do you ever feel like you're disconnected from your vision, like you're disconnected from your purpose? Um, like you're waking up every single day and you, the intention isn't there, or you don't really know the reason why you're doing what you're doing. You're kind of just like existing. You're kind of just like going through the motions. I want to speak on that. I want to speak on my experience with that, my struggle with that, and what I've done to kind of to overcome that and to change that, where I wake up not perfect. Every single day isn't the best day. I don't think, every single day you're going to feel 100%. You're not going to feel your most happy. You're not going to feel your most attractive. You're not going to feel your most, strong self, I guess you can say. But the one thing that I really want to get across in this video is more so the pursuit of peace. And I believe when you're doing what you're called to do in this particular season of your life, and you're being as authentic to yourself as possible and how you're designed to be and how God has wired you to be, there's a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes through that, where it doesn't matter how good your day is, or if you're happy, or if you're sad, or if you're angry. You're a human being. Like, you're going to have those feelings. It's not about always being happy or never being sad. It's, do you have peace in all of that, right? So you're never really too high or you're never really too low. You're kind of like even keel. And I believe that everybody is called to do something. I don't think there's any human being alive that doesn't have a reason why they're here. You are here right now in this season, in this time in the world, for a reason, right? With the resources, everything that's happening in the world, what's happening in your community, the family that you grew up in, all of that is on purpose. You were born for purpose, on purpose, and with purpose. And the world will do everything that it possibly can to pull you away from that, right? And it's our responsibility to get reconnected to how God designed you to be, so you can live the life that He created you to live. And if you're watching this right now and you feel like you're existing more than living, you're kind of like going through the motions, every day's kind of like the same, your zest and your excitement for life just isn't there. I hope at the end of this video, you feel a little bit more reignited. You feel a little bit more reconnected. You feel a little more, ready to kind of do something different. I grew up very, very an insecure young man. I am the youngest of 5 boys, and my parents were each married once before. My mother is black, my father is white, and so I have 3 brothers on my father's side that are white and 2 brothers on my mother's side that are black. And because they each were married once before, all of my brothers are significantly older than I am, right? So my oldest brother is 15 years older than me, and my brother that was closest to my age is 5 years older than me. So I kind of grew up with kind of a big family, but also feeling separate because I'm so much younger than everyone. So the level of communication and understanding and time and all that stuff was not really there. They loved me for sure, and all that stuff, but when you're 5 years old, there's only so much that you can talk to your 20-year-old brother about, right? And I love my brothers, right? I love all of them. My brother that was closest to my age, Ian, he passed away in 2007. He was the one that I was closest to, and the one that I really felt the most connected with, because he was, 5 years older than me. So, he understood me and I understood him. But I say that to say, I grew up with an identity crisis. Not only was I younger than everyone, but also I didn't look like anybody. And I was the only one in my family that looked like me. So when we're going to dinner, if I'm going to get something to eat with my brothers on my dad's side, there's 3 people at this table that look like they're related, and then there's one person that isn't. If I'm going out with my brothers on my mom's side, there's two that look related and there's one that isn't. I was the common denominator. So I didn't really grow up feeling a part of things. And because of that, I gravitated towards sports and I gravitated towards TV. That's where I felt the most seen. That's where I felt the most understood. And when I played sports, it was always through the lens of having to prove my value and my worth. Now, maybe you can understand that. Maybe you're someone that you've always lived your life using performance or achievement to get value and to get worth through people. Like, you're looking for people to validate you. That was me, because I grew up in that way, and I have two amazing parents and I have an amazing family. But as a child, you see things through a different lens. I have a different experience than everyone in my family. So the way I viewed it was, I was so different. I had to do things differently to feel accepted, right? I'm the youngest of 5 boys. I'm going to be the last to shave, the last to drive, the last to date, the last to go to high school, go to college, the last to go to prom, have a girlfriend. Like, I'm the last to do a lot. So in my mind, I'm thinking maybe too deep growing up, but I'm like, what's so special about me if my parents have seen this 5 times before me? You know what I'm saying? So with sports, I really felt like I had to do the absolute most to feel seen. And so I put so much pressure on myself to perform at a high level because I needed to do well to have something over everybody. So when you live your life that way, you tend to be a people pleaser. You tend to cater to how everyone else feels and thinks. Maybe you can relate to that. You tend to be someone that your emotions are great when things are going well, and when things are not, you're internalizing as if there's something wrong with you or you're not enough. Maybe you can relate to that too. So fast forward, when it comes to your vision, you tend to kind of look at things through a skewed lens, because it's not really about doing things how you're designed to be. It's really more so about doing things how others want you to be, or how you think you should be for other people. And that created an adulthood, a manhood of constantly doing things and needing validation and needing to be told that I was enough and that I was doing a good job. And that carried in relationships, that carried in career, that carried in certain decisions that I made. I was always weighing other people's opinions on what I was doing. And it took a long time for me to get rid of that, with a lot of work with God and counsel, and really getting to the root of why I was looking at things the way I was looking at it, and why I felt the way that I felt. And I came to this realization was, I didn't love myself enough to embrace my differences and to lean into what made me different from everyone. Not better than, different than. I believe God has called us to be different than, not better than. And so I always looked at my differences as my detriment. Being biracial, being young, being, all these things where I felt were a hindrance to me, they really were my advantage. They really were my leverage. And so for you, if you're still listening to this, I believe your destiny is in your difference. Your destiny is in your uniqueness. Your destiny is what separates you from the people that you know, love, and care about. And if you're watching this and you're struggling with your vision, you're struggling with your mission, you're struggling with what are you supposed to do? What are you called to do? Who are you called to be? I want you to peel back the layers and go back to, who have you always been? Who have you always been? The very things that you shunned away, that you suppressed, that you got rid of because you felt that it made you weird, or it made you different, or you didn't sound like everyone else. You didn't walk like everyone else. You didn't talk like everyone else. You didn't have the same interests as everyone else. The things that you were hiding to fit in, I want to submit to you that that's where you should start. Growing up, I hated my voice. I hated how my voice sounded on voicemails. I couldn't stand it. But what I didn't realize is, fast forward 30 years later, I'm 37 years old. That is the very thing that has brought life into my life. My voice, my content has been seen by over 500 million people around the world. I have a social community of over 1 million people across all social media platforms. And if you would have told the 5-year-old kid, the 10-year-old kid, the 15-year-old that was so insecure about himself that this is where I would be and what I would be doing, I would have thought you're absolutely insane. But this is not about me. This is about you. And your destiny is in your difference. So if you're struggling with your vision right now, I want you to go back, take some steps back and go back to that little boy or that little girl when you're by yourself. I had someone very, very near and dear to me told me this, and I want to give this to you. Look at things as if you are in a classroom of one. You're the only person in the classroom, and everything you read, everything you talk about, everything you watch, everything you do was about what made you happy, what made you feel alive, what made you interested, what entertained you, and do that. Because oftentimes as we get older, we start to compete because we want to be like everyone else. We want to keep up with the Joneses if we feel like we're not enough. And we start jumping into everyone else's lane because in our mind, it's working for them and it's not working for us. But I promise you this, and I want to say this in closing. If you do the things that make you feel like you, it's going to connect to those that also want to feel what you feel because they're going to connect with you. And your story is going to resonate with them to uncover what they're called to do. There are so many other people in this world that have the same interest as you. They have the same beliefs as you. They have the same struggle as you, but they're waiting for a champion to show up that they can connect with. And that champion is you. So if you're struggling with your vision, go back to who you used to be and feed that person. And I guarantee you, in due time, you'll get reconnected.